when you believe that you have to do God's job for him, that's too much pressure on you. That's too much responsibility for you to handle. That's too much work for you to do. And there's no possible way that you can do God's job for him. Some of us we don't know how to trust God. We don't know whether we can trust God or not. We have overcomplicated the system. So I'm going to talk very briefly to you about what it kind of needs to look like for us in this season, especially with so much uncertainty. I want to turn your attention to the book of Genesis. I want to turn your attention to the account of Joseph. Now, I like to teach on Joseph a lot just because it shows us that not every time you go through something difficult or something uncomfortable, that doesn't always mean that it is the devil. So Genesis 40, starting at the 5th verse, this is when, we'll start at verse 1. This is when Joseph is in prison. Sometime after this, the cupbearer of the king and his baker committed an offense against their lord the king, and Pharaoh was angry with two of his officers, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, and he put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard in the prison where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard appointed Joseph to be with them, and he attended them. They continued for some time in custody, and one night they both dreamed, the cupbearer and the king of Egypt, who were confined in prison, each his own dream, each dream with its own interpretation. When Joseph came to them in the morning, he saw that they were troubled. So he asked Pharaoh's officers who were with him in custody in the master's house, "Why are your faces downcast today?" They said to him, "We have had dreams, and there is no one to interpret it." And Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Please tell me more." Now, I want to bring that passage up to you because many of us would not have responded the same way as Joseph, right? Joseph says, why are you downcast today? Mind you, Joseph has already been through so much. He was sold into slavery. He's been put into prison for a crime that he did not commit. He's been betrayed by his family, his own flesh and blood. So there are a lot of reasons why people should be asking Joseph, why are you downcast today? Why are you sad today? But Joseph, he remained in his assignment, although he was in an uncomfortable place. Many of us, we would be depressed if we were in Joseph's situation. We would be angry at God, so angry that we don't want to talk to him anymore. Some of us, on the other hand, we would try to remain in the assignment with our own strength. So we would try to interpret the dreams from the flesh. We would try to give a word because we have to prove to them that we're somebody. I'm in prison, but I'm somebody. God gave me a dream, and so I need to make sure I interpret all your dreams because I'm somebody, right? And so there are a lot of ways that Joseph could have responded, but he didn't. He points them back to God. He says, "Do not all interpretations belong to God?" So ultimately, Joseph did not allow the journey that he was on to cripple him. Now, Psalm 105 says that the word of the Lord troubled him until its fulfillment. But Joseph did not allow him being troubled to block him from trusting. You're going to be troubled by things that you experience. There are things that are going to be heavy on your heart. There are going to be things that you don't understand. But in the midst of the uncertainty, you have to trust God right where you are. And so Joseph did not allow the restlessness of, when is it going to happen? When is that dream going to come to pass that God showed me when I was younger? When am I going to arrive? When am I going to have the business? When am I going to start the church? When am I going to this? When am I going to that? When? A lot of people are dealing with the anxiety right now of who, what, when, where, why, and how. And so The fact of the matter is that God is sovereign. God is in control. We cannot allow who, what, when, where, why, and how to dictate our trust and our dependence on God. We will always have questions. We're always going to wonder things. But the fact of the matter is, if we place our faith in our own understanding and we become restless because of what we don't see, then we're not going to see what God showed us. We're not going to walk in that season, right? So Joseph doesn't use the stress of where he's not in life as an excuse to abandon his relationship with God.